Hello and welcome to the web design class for Tuesday, October 20th, the beginning class. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys in. Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. Hey, so let me go ahead and just put you into the attendance and then we can get started, all right?
Okay.
Okay, I think I got you guys taken care of. So how are you doing today? What's new? Anything?
Good.
We're staying rock steady with the same stuff that has always existed in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay, that works for me. Well, let's see. Now, do you guys know about the Adobe Max conference that's going on right now?
I heard about it. I just don't ever look at any of their conferences or whatever.
Oh, well, this is kind of cool because normally you have to pay like hundreds of dollars to go to this conference, but this year it's free online. And let me just show you. I'll share my screen here. So let's see, where are we? We're here. So let's put this down here and make one of these and go to Adobe Max. So this is a live conference online. It's happening now. And you can download the agenda here. You can see all the people that are going to give speeches and stuff. And then they're doing product updates and things like that. One of the things that they just released was, let me see if I can find this. They just released a new Photoshop update. And one of the things they added in was this thing called neural filters. Let me just show you an example of what this is. Oops.
Hello there, Paul Tranny here, and I'm excited to show you a brand new way to make dramatic edits in seconds and to experiment with new creative ideas. It's just a lot of fun. It is the brand new neural filters in Photoshop. So take an image, go to filter, go down to neural filters right here, select that. There's going to be a number of them in here, and we'll start with style transfer, just turning that on. So it basically, based on machine learning, understands what this photo is, what it actually is, and then actually will apply that style that I picked off to the side. So it does it pretty straightforward. It analyzes the actual photo. So a lot of machine learning going on here. And there's a number of styles that you could choose from. You can play with those settings. You could output it as a new layer like I'm doing right now, blend it with maybe the original, something kind of like that. It's kind of fun to work with. Let's move on to this use case, right? It's like, hey, you know what? I just want to colorize it. Go into neural filters rather than me doing all that work. We'll go into the beta filters, colorize. There it is. Click on that. No hands mode. It does it for me because it's trained on millions of images. It knows what grass looks like, what the sky looks like, all that fun stuff. But it also knows people. It's trained on millions of faces. So, it will actually give you a smart filter. So let's just go ahead and open up this neural filter. You will find it right in here, smart portrait. Just turn that on, right? And then from here, this is what you're going to want to do. Is you're going to want to play with the facial age. Let's just crank that all the way up and see what happens. There we go. Actually, that was really fast. By the way, I'm using an HP ZBook. It's running an NVIDIA RTX GPU. So it's built for these AI-driven neural filters. That's why it's happening so fast, which makes me happy as I give myself more of a smile, inferring what my teeth would look like, right? That's great. right? Adjusting my head direction to make it a little bit more interesting. And let's actually avert my gaze a little bit so you're looking kind of back at the camera is kind of the idea, something kind of like that. And again, it is a smart filter. That's what's happening. I can change it later on as well. It's a lot of fun. Check out the neural filters in Photoshop today. Thanks for watching.
So what do you guys think of those?
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's cool stuff, and it's available today. You can just go update Photoshop from Creative Cloud. They also have this one, sky replacement. You can go ahead and replace your sky with pretty much anything you want, including all the skies from Adobe's Sky Library. And then here's some examples of some different skies for you. Right. Then they have this new feature. They've already got a feature where you can select a subject in a picture, but now you'll be able to refine the hair in the subject and get an even better mask of them. So this shows you kind of their progression: color aware, object aware, and refine hair, and it gives you just a more refined version of basically cropping that guy out of the background, including his hair. And they used that on this lion. In a couple strokes, they were able to get this lion and all his hair out of the background. So that's very cool. Also, they're starting a plugin. They're opening the plugins for Photoshop up kind of like the App Store, the way the App Store is open for apps. Other parties will be able to make plugins for Photoshop. Now, there have been plugins for Photoshop by third parties before, but these guys are basically opening it up for everybody. And so you might get a bunch of cool like plugins that you can add in that you can pay for that do a bunch of other cool stuff. And then a couple other things they're doing more specifically for designers. Are let's see. Okay, now they have pattern preview. So if you make a pattern, it will tile it and you can see how your pattern looks. They now have a triangle shape, thank God, that they're adding in, and they're giving you more tools to edit shapes in Photoshop. And then let's see, they talk about the plugins there. Let's see, preset search. And then I think they added some new features to Photoshop on the iPad, which it desperately needs because it's such a scaled down version Photoshop on the iPad that it's hard to do the things you want to do on it. But they also had one announcement today. They have brought Illustrator to the iPad, and which I've been waiting for. I was waiting for them to bring Photoshop to the iPad, but now they've got Illustrator there, and that's the other thing I was waiting for. Let's check out this little video.
I'm not even sure if it's real, but I just got to say I found my way. The forest got a magical feel, yeah.
So pretty cool. Some fun stuff you can do with these Adobe programs. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to check in with you guys to see what changes you made to your website, and then I've got some things I can talk about. So Bernadette, we can start with you. Anything new on your website?
Um, so I did add a sermons page. There's only like two pictures that are just blank right now, but and I did figure out how to get it the full width. It's in advanced margins, and I had to make sure to go like negative 150 on like left and right.
Wow,
Uh,
congratulations. That's brilliant. It
I
looks
didn't.
great.
There's some things I still need to add, like change the picture right there, but yeah. So one obstacle out of the way.
God, yeah, no, that's good. I'm really glad you found that. Let's see. Let me get my view actual size. Okay, there we go.
Okay, I was like, what happened? It looks like super huge.
Yeah, no, that's just me. Okay, and this is going to be darker, right?
Yeah, I'm currently working on their logo right now, so I kind of don't want to. I just want to make it once I finish everything, like put it on there.
Okay. And then did you say, is there a new page or?
Yeah, in the sermons.
Oh, that's once
That's
again really
weird.
nice photo with your nice text on top of it.
I thought I fixed that. Maybe I
No, fixed what? What's wrong?
with the
Oh, you mean the width?
yeah, I
Oh,
had it the way it was with like the first page, but for some reason it didn't update. Could have
oh, well, just go in and try it again, I guess.
yeah.
Uh,
And yeah.
Go ahead.
There's some more stuff at the bottom, but that's really it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's looking good. So congrats on figuring out that issue. That was a big one. So I'm glad you figured that. Okay. And so let me ask both you guys. I think we need to set a deadline for finishing this website. What do you guys think? How much time do you think you need to finish your websites? Do you think you could get them done in a couple weeks?
I think I'm pretty close to finished already. I just need one more thing and I'm pretty much done.
Okay. How about you, Bernadette? What do you think is a timeline you could live with?
I think I could maybe do well, what's today? Like the 18th or night? I don't know.
20th.
But
It's the 20th.
oh, that was close. Maybe the end of October.
So let's see. A week from today would be the 27th, and then the day after that would basically be election day, November 3rd.
Hmm.
That work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's set that as the deadline to finish your websites, and then we can move on and do another project. All right. So, what you want to do is get all your content in there, get your logo replaced with the real one, put any additional text you're going to put here on the front, and any other bells and whistles you want to add to it, just so it looks like kind of a complete website.
Hmm. Question. I was kind of when I was making a new tab, or not a new tab, a new page for the menu. Um, is it okay if we have like different pages within a page, if that makes sense, like parent pages?
Yeah,
Or do you?
you know how to do that?
I think so. You just kind of
Drag it over.
have to explain with
Yeah,
words.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would recommend that because sometimes it just makes sense, and also it makes your navigation bar a little smaller, which is usually pretty good. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Alex, do you want to give me your URL in the chat so we can check out your page?
Yeah.
For a second, I thought that was a special effect on Alex's page.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I got to see your cool video. Are you gonna put that video on the website?
I was thinking about it, but I had realized something. When I did the video, I I made it so that the way that you get to the hotel is by a really tall elevator. And when I was
Yeah.
making the website, I had a different idea of taking a rocket, so they're kind of different. But I mean,
Okay.
I could still like include the video. Um,
Yeah, you
but
might
yeah,
want to just because it's a cool feature, whenever you have a video on a website.
yeah,
Yeah, you might consider that. Okay, so has anything much changed on this since we last saw?
yeah. I removed some of the stuff that was unnecessary, and I customized some of the images. And that's about it. Pretty much just cleaned it up.
I like this. You have Elon Musk and Grimes on your team,
Yeah.
and then Alex and Lady. Uh, that's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Oh,
Okay.
and I fixed those as well.
Did you?
The circles.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Those look good. Yeah, this looks really nice. And I can see that you got some of the junk out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's looking really good. Now, I would say that this front. Do you think maybe we could have something a little more eye catching as a picture back here?
Yeah, I was thinking that too actually, and I was thinking about changing the font on the Take a Trip to Space. I feel like it could be more
Yeah.
like a futuristic font.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and the last thing that I want to work on is the logo. And yeah,
And, and then, but also the picture behind this whole section is not. I want to say it's not as interesting as it could be.
yeah, I agree.
Okay. So, all right, cool. And then, is there anything in these other tabs here? Oh, these all just link down the page, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, it's looking really good. And then, of course, yeah, your logo, you're going to work on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Well, they both look good. And so I would say, just do your final changes, Alex. Maybe you think you'll be ready next week.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and then the following week we'll look at Bernadette's. Okay, cool. Well, let me go ahead and show you guys some things I want to talk to you about today. So, of course, that's the advanced class. So let's go down here. Of course, we can talk about the coding that you guys learned about, and then, but I also have some plugins that I want to show you guys. So there's an article here that is called "Handpick List of the Best WordPress Plugins." And if you go out on the internet, you're going to find a lot of plugin possibilities. There's a lot of choices that you can choose from. But I like this list because I agree with a lot of their choices. So, like for example, the best search engine optimization plugin is Yoast, and that is pretty much agreed upon across the board. Security is a really good one too. Now, it's important for you guys to know the best plugins because you can use them for your sites, but then you can recommend them to your clients too. And most of these plugins are free, so it's not that big a deal. And the ones that are paid for, you can talk them up to your clients and get them to pay for them. So let me go down a little more. Okay, of course, Elementor is being touted as one of the best page layout ones, and I certainly think that's the case. Um, let's see. Now, here's one that I'd like to show you. I want to demo this on my site. So let me go to dreamco.com/test/wp admin. All right. Okay. So the plugin that we're talking about right now is called Social Warfare. And what happens, of course, you just go into plugins, you go add new, you search for the name of the plugin, and then when it comes up, you would just click in install and then activate on the little buttons here. Now, once it's activated, you get a little section where you can, a settings section where you can do things. And it's over here, social warfare. And what happens is you tell it which ones of these logos you want it to display. If there's something you additional you want it to display, you drag it up here. If you want to take something away, you drag it down here, inactive versus active. And then for every single page in your site, you tell it whether you want it to appear above the content, below the content, both above and below, or not at all. And so you can tell it to appear above posts, on pages, in archives, on the home page, and so on and so forth, right? And then, of course, you can go in here and link these buttons to your exact websites, right? So you can see that they have styles here where you can mess with the different buttons. This is where you put in your social handles and then some advanced features, right? And basically the way this looks is, notice I don't have any at the top of my web page, my home page, but I've decided on the home page I want them to appear on the bottom, right? And then, but on other pages like this sample page, let's see, where is it? I think there's some page, yeah. Here on the gallery, I have them appearing at the top, like above my content, right? So you can have them appear wherever you want. And so this is a pretty cool plugin. I think you can resize these so they can be much smaller as well, which obviously would be an improvement. Okay, other plugins. Modula is a gallery plugin that they recommend, and also Envira Gallery. And I like both of these, but I guess I like Modula just a little bit more, and I'll show you why. You know, once again, you would just go search for Modula and download it, install it, and then you'll end up with a little area over here, a little button where you can go into the Modula gallery. Now, to make a Modula gallery is really easy. You just click Add New. And what I like about Modula is you can bring in pictures. You know, you can upload them or bring them in from your media area. But what I like is this feature here where you can turn on a custom grid. And what that will allow you to do is it will allow you to resize your pictures, you know, whatever size you want them to appear in your gallery, right? So now I've got these two pictures here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this gallery. Oh, I'm going to give it a title, so I'll call it Test Gallery. And I'm going to save it. And now what it does is it gives me a bit of short code that I can use. Now, short code is any code between these hard brackets here. And what short code does is it just accesses a plugin or some code on your website and uses that to display whatever information is held in the database relative to that code. So in this case, whatever page we put this on is going to display this gallery. So if I go up here and make a new page, and I'll call this new gallery, all I have to do is paste in this short code and update this, publish this, and view the page. And now my gallery appears, right? And I can just click on these and see my pictures, and I can click off of it to close it. Now this little text that's appearing on top of this, that is one of the settings I actually don't like very much. So let's see, Modula. So I can go back into the gallery. I can go back into my test gallery. And over here are the settings. So I can say that, you know, let's see, I want to hide my titles and I want to hide captions, right? And hopefully, I'm hoping that is gonna solve my problem. Let's see, new gallery. Yeah, So see how those titles disappeared, right? So I like Modula, of course. You know, it's freemium, which means, you know, that you're only going to be able to do so much with the free gallery. But then if you want more, you got to pay a little price for that. So I would recommend that you try out this one and maybe Envira too, because that one is also a cool gallery. Maybe one of those two will be the one that you really like. The other gallery that I'm a big fan of, and I usually mention it to everybody, is the most popular gallery out there. It's called Next Gen Gallery. And so if you just type in Next Gen, yeah, Next Gen Gallery is extremely popular. It's the most popular one out there, and it's very powerful. So those are three great choices for galleries, and hopefully you can find one of them that works for you. Okay, other plugins. Okay, Gravity Forms is a paid plugin. It's not free like these other ones, but you can make really simple working contact forms with Contact Form 7 or even WP Forms, which I believe comes standard with a lot of Astra templates and stuff. And those will work just fine. But if you need to do anything more complicated with a form, Gravity Forms is the way to go. So for example, let's say you wanted to put some conditional logic into one of your forms. Now, can you guys tell me what conditional logic is?
No.
Okay. Conditional logic is logic that is based on conditions. You could consider it the kind of logic that is involved in an if-then statement. And what happens, an if-then statement is referring to computer code where you say, if such a condition exists, then do this, right? So a conditional form or a form that uses conditional logic would be a form that would say something like, if the user clicks on the button that says they want more choices on this form, then open up a new bank of choices for the user, okay? So you can build conditional logic into the forms. In other words, let's say you put a job application online and it said, you know, it said, click this button if you are under 18 years of age. And somebody clicks, you know, that checkbox on the form, and all of a sudden a little box opens up that says, we're sorry, but we only hire people who are 18 years or older. And then, you know, you've given that person information that they need, and now they don't have to fill out the rest of the form. Or the opposite version of that would be, you know, click on this form if you have click on this checkbox if you have the names of 3 people who can be references for you if we want to consider hiring you. So you click that box and 3 rows open up that each have room for the names and contact information for your references. So this can be extremely useful because you can make forms where people can request more information from you. They can request a catalog. They can ask to talk to somebody specifically at your company. They can fill out a contact form where they just put in certain information. So the sky's the limit. And there's a little cost to these Gravity forms, but they're great. They just work great. Okay, now when it comes to e-commerce plugins, WooCommerce is the way to go. You know, Alex is a fan of Shopify, and we've talked about Shopify. I've looked into it a little bit more to see kind of what was going on over there. And, you know, I think Shopify is a good, you know, WordPress is a good solution for somebody that wants a website. And Shopify is a good solution for somebody who wants an e-commerce website where they don't want to have to build it themselves. You know, all the functionality is kind of baked in. But of course, if they want more ownership, more customization possibilities for their e-commerce site, then WordPress plus WooCommerce would be the way to go. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one here, if you're ever tasked to build a website by a client that is a learning website, an educational website, one of the best plugins out there is this one called LearnDash, and it's got a cost attached to it. It's like $200 normally and $150 on sale or whatever. And by the way, that's an annual price, that $150 for you pay for updates and stuff. But anyway, I built a little site with LearnDash, and I just wanted to show it to you. So This is LearnDash, and it uses a free Astra template. And you can see what I did. I didn't do anything more than customize this homepage a little bit. All I did was I put a logo up here. I switched out this back picture. I tried to find something that looked kind of young and cool. So it's a kid sitting in a cafe with a laptop that's got all these stickers on it. I updated the little tagline here. And that's pretty much all I did. But this is an incredible website software that can do all kinds of great stuff. Let me just let me show you just a little bit of what it can do. It's amazing. If you guys ever want to teach a class, or you know somebody that wants to teach classes, check this out. Let me see the little video. Where's our video, guys? Okay, maybe it's in an about section. Let's see, demo. Oh, you can see this looks just like my site. So this is the same. This is the same template, right? But let's see. Let's look at some of the things here. So basic LearnDash overview, see more, log in to enroll. Let's see. Okay, can we just, I was just hoping we could see everything, but we can't. There's a video here. Let me find the video where they, oh wait, oh damn it. Let's see if this is it. Here we go. We're gonna watch just a little bit of this video.
You've waited for it. It's here. LearnDash 3.0. Whether you have been using LearnDash for years or you're new to our community, you are in for a treat. Today, we have released LearnDash 3.0, or LD3. Hi, I'm Justin Fairman. After many months of research, design, and development, you now have access to the most cutting-edge online course platform, not just in WordPress, but across the e-learning industry. You see, at LearnDash, e-learning is our thing. We come from the space and we stay in it. But I'm a strong believer that no one company can be good at all things all the time. You chose LearnDash and you deserve the best. So we brought in not one, but two award-winning agencies with the single goal to bring you the best learning platform on the market. 10up, whose clients include the likes of TechCrunch, was brought in to optimize the software's back-end user experience, all of which driven by phone conversations we had with you, our users. And 3.7 Designs, experts in instructional design theory, who have implemented LearnDash at the University of Michigan. And let me say this, their new design isn't only visually appealing, it incorporates the latest research and online course design principles for a truly impressive and captivating learning experience. I'm not kidding you. You now have a learning platform that is simply unmatched. There is so much to LD3 that it would be impossible to cover it all in a single overview. But let's have a look at some of the highlights, including one new feature that can improve your course retention and completion rates with just a single click. Let's have a look. Well, here we are on a LearnDash course page, and if you've used LearnDash in the past, this looks a lot different. Every template in LearnDash has been updated to give you a polished and professional look and to improve the learner experience. You'll see we have this nice header that tells us our status and the price of the course, how to get started. Below that, our course description and materials. And then at the very end, our course content, which has a few layers. So we have sections indicated by these labels here. Under sections, we can have our lessons. And then we can divide those lessons up using topics. Quizzes can be assigned at any one of these levels. So I'm going to enroll in this course, and you'll see that the header goes away, and now I have a course progress bar, which is a nice touch if you don't want to use a sidebar for your course progress. When I go into a lesson, you'll see that your content really pops. You can list out your materials for your lesson, and if you have topics, that will be included in a lesson content table. So I'm going to mark one of these complete, and you'll see when I do so, we are tracking the lesson progress, as indicated by this bar here, and the overall course progress. And the course navigation is following us along. I'll complete this quiz really quick, and I think there's only one more topic, and I'll complete that as well. And you'll see that we're taken to the next lesson.
And indicated in the sidebar here, we have everything complete in the first section. And if I go to the course page, which is easy to do with the breadcrumbs, you'll see that everything is marked complete. If I pop over to the profile really quick, you'll see a list of all my courses. This one's still in progress, so that is indicated with the label. And as I continue completing quizzes and earning certificates, that will appear here on my profile. But you know, we did more than just update the templates in LearnDash. We also added one new feature that will make your courses stand out from all the rest. Okay, now we're back in the WordPress dashboard under the LearnDash Global Settings. That's under the LearnDash LMS Settings section. And before I show you the feature I really want to point out, I'll just mention that this whole navigation of LearnDash and all of our settings and the process of creating a course has been optimized to be as simple as possible and as thorough as possible so you can really get your courses up and running quickly. But more on that in a second. So a feature I want to point out is this little one here, Enable Focus Mode. Just by turning that on, you've enabled a distraction-free course experience that is definitely unmatched across any learning platform that is out there. I'm going to select the logo really quick and click Save. And I'm going to go back to a course, and bear with me, this site is just a dev site, so it's nothing fancy. Just go to the available courses, and we're back on the first course that I was showing you earlier. This looks the same. Okay, so somebody's still going to come to your course page and they're going to be able to read about it, look at the course materials, and still see the course content. But here is the game changer. When somebody wants to start taking the content, we are going to take them to a different environment, a virtual learning environment powered by LearnDash, which we are calling Focus Mode. So now you can see that your content is brought forward. The distractions are gone. It's now your course that they are viewing. And you have the navigation on the left-hand side and the content on the right. We put a ton of thought into the spacing and to the delivery of the content in focus mode so that it is optimized for learner retention and then ultimately to help move a learner along to increase your completion rates.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. But anyway, what do you guys think? Does that look pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice software. Like I said, I bought it because I want to teach some classes. But let's go back to, yeah, and the price. It's not cheap. Let's see. Yeah, so 229 normally, 189 off. Oh, actually, no, this is the one I was talking about before. 200 for the basic, and then it's like $40, $41 off on sale right now. But that's an annual fee. You pay for updates and support and stuff like that. So that is a really good piece of software. Okay, let's see. I'm going to skip some of these that I'm not that familiar with. BB Press and Buddy. BB Press is a really good forum. If you ever need to set up a forum on a website, this one works great and it's free. This one I haven't tried yet, Ultimate Membership Pro, but I'd like to try it if you need a membership plugin. I've tried some WooCommerce plugins that work well, but they're kind of expensive. And then here's one that will allow you to embed PDFs into your site. Age verification, you know, these plugins are right here if you ever need them. And then this one right here, WP Project Manager, works pretty well if you ever want to have a website where you're working with other people and you want to manage the project. So let me show you a little bit of this video. Let's see, where do we go? Here we go. We'll just watch a little bit of it. Okay, I'll stop there. But anyway, this is a cool plugin. It's also freemium. So if you needed to, create a project management software in your website, this could obviously would be password protected for the back end of your website. And then you could work with people on setting up goals and completion dates and stuff like that. Now, this is great software for WordPress, but I also wanted to show you another piece of software here, which is not related to WordPress at all. It's the software called Basecamp. Now, what Basecamp is it's basically remote team working, and it's an all-in-one scheduler and calendar and email communication tool and file upload tool. It's pretty much everything you need if you're going to work remotely with people in teams. And you can see here, you can try it free, and they talk to you about all the cool stuff they have in here: group chats, message boards, to-do lists, docs and files, schedules, right? And I actually have an account with these people. This is what it looks like when you log in. This is like a project I did many years ago with some people, and you can see that different files were uploaded. You can see that we have communications that are happening right here, and there's project updates. So like, this is your dashboard where you can learn about things. And then if I go to projects here, I have multiple projects. I don't know which one I was just on. Here's one that has a bunch of different choices on it, right? So Basecamp is really very cool, and I believe they have a student discount. So if you guys are working, on any big projects with people, like let's say it's even a class project or something, you could potentially use this or that WP project plugin to try that out. Okay, let's see. Okay. When it comes to backups, it's a good idea to have a backup for your website. And so the WordPress backup plugin VaultPress is a very good one. I think you pay $10 a month for it, and backs up all your data on a regular basis. Your web host will back up your data, but they won't back it up on any schedule other than their own. And if you want a specific like daily or hourly backup, this is a good plugin to get. Here's a plugin for inserting ads in your website, and you can put them, or in a client's website, you can insert them where you want them. Of course, you can use something like Google Ads and just put the code in, and then people will start making money off these ads on their website. Okay, and then if you want to insert a table on your website, there's a couple options here. I've actually used this one called TablePress, and I've got it on this site here. So if we go add new, and we'll just search for a TablePress. And then of course you would just install it, and it adds a brand new button over here. And you can just say add new table, and you give the table a name, because WordPress doesn't have an easy way to make tables. So I can say, my data here, and I can say how many rows and columns I want. And then here's my table, and I can write, this is a cool table. I can go ahead and manipulate the look and feel of this table, just kind of like you would in like Microsoft program. And then when I'm all done, I just simply save the changes. And once again, I get a shortcode for this. So I click Save Changes, and now it brings up this shortcode. So I can make a new page, and I'll just call this new table, and drop in this code and hit publish, and then view the page. And here's your table right here. You see it says this is a cool table, which is the content I typed in. All these others are empty. These, I believe, these little arrows allow you to sort the information in the tables. You can put whatever background color you want. And I believe the tables are also responsive, so they'll get smaller and larger, right? So, you know, if you ever need to put tabular data inside of a web page, that's the way to go with TablePress. And then, of course, let's see what else we have here. Akismet comes standard with WordPress, and it's a great spam catcher. And that's pretty much it. So now some of these I skipped over because I'm not really, you know, here's a lead generation plugin, Opt-in Monster. I don't use that, you know, best Q&A plugin, you know, but I really recommend that you guys take down and copy the URL of this site because, you know, it's got a lot of the key plugins that you'll use for a lot of purposes. You know, this link is on the website, the class website, so you can get it there. Okay, any questions from you guys or any other plugins you want to point out that you'd like to use?
So I think you mentioned it while you were talking about everything, but so things like Elementor and some of the other plugins are free. Or do you have to pay for like the pro stuff?
Well, so most plugins these days are what we call freemium, which means there's a free version and a paid version.
Yeah.
And Elementor is free, and you can use a lot of cool features with Elementor being free. And then if you pay the $40 or whatever per year, you get all the pro tools too.
Okay.
Now, did I tell you about that the Elementor add-on plugin that you could get?
You might have, but I don't remember.
Okay, so what it is I gotta go back here. Okay. If you search for something called Elementor Essential Add-ons, I think the name of it has been changed to Happy Add-ons for Elementor. But basically, what this does is it takes a lot of the stuff that you normally pay for in the pro version and adds it in for free. So if you install this, you get, it's like having a pro version of Elementor without paying for it.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm sure Elementor isn't happy about it, but maybe that's why they changed the name. I don't know, but check it out. Another student told me about it and it works pretty well. Okay, so what I wanted to do now was talk about some of the reading that you guys have done and look at some of these properties, these CSS properties. So did you guys get a chance to check out this borders stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so borders, you have the ability with borders to put borders on all four sides of something. So you can see there's borders on all sides, a border on the bottom. This is rounded borders, and this is a blue left border, right? And this shows you all of the different things that you can do with a border, all the different codes that you can make to change the border. And so if you look down here, you see like the dotted border, the dashed one, the solid, the double line, and that's what all of these special codes do, right? And then a hidden border. I don't know why you would have a hidden border. I mean, it's just as good as no border, if you ask me. Okay, so if we want to try this ourselves, you know, let's just try putting in a border. So we could say P, which is paragraph, class equals, and then quotes, and then we'll call this a new border, and we'll put /P. Now, you have all of these different options here that were created in the style menu. So these are the CSS styles. And so all you have to do is say the name of this, like this one is called dotted, this one's called dashed, this one's called solid. Let's just call this one groove. And we'll call this a new Greg border so we can identify it. And we'll hit run. Okay, so there's the one that it looks like there's a groove cut in. If we want to change it to dotted and so on and so forth, right? So borders are really cool. And of course, you can add other features to the borders. Like that text is pretty close to the edge of the border. So what would I add in here to make the content a little further away from the edges of the border?
Some padding.
Exactly. So what I could do is I could say like style equals padding, let's say 1 EM, and then the semicolon, and then we hit run, and there you go, right? Now, if 1 EM is too much, you can use decimals in here, and maybe now I have something I'm happy with, right? You know, you can also, let's see, we could try some other things too. Let's see what happens if we put in a background color. Let's see if it just stays within that border. Looks like it does, right? So, you know, some really cool things you can do with borders there. Okay, let me close that up and we'll go back here.
Question.
Yeah,
What does P dot stand for? I forgot.
okay, what that is, so, you know, if you have a style sheet up here, anything you put in there is the name of a style, right?
Okay.
Now, certain words are reserved keywords for HTML5, like the word body, the letter P, the letter number combination H1. These
Yeah.
all refer to types of existing styles. So if you put in P and then you put in your curly braces and you put something in here, what you're doing is you're making changes to all paragraphs on the website, right? Or if you make a style and apply H1 to it, you're changing all the H1 tags on the website. Or if you make a style after the word body, you're changing everything on every page because body refers to everything on the page. Now, if you want to code a style to a specific name that you came up with, let's say that you want to make sure that there's a paragraph tag, right? And then you want to put in a class name, in this case, dotted. Well, when you put in a class name for a style, you put a dot in front of it. So let me show you an example. So I'm going to put in a new thing here. I'm going to call this class Greg. And what I'm going to say is, if I put in dot Greg, that dot equals this word class. So when the style sheet, when the HTML page is being processed, when it sees class equals Greg, it's going to look for dot Greg and then it's going to apply that style, right? And I can show you what that looks like. I can put in a curly brace. I can come down here and I can say, you know, background green, and then I can put in an end curly brace, right? So now we see Greg with a green background, right?
Okay.
Now, if you want to say, hey, we want to call up the Greg style, which is a class because it's got a dot in front of it, but we only want to call up the Greg style that is inside of a paragraph tag, then you could have put a P in front of it. And now you're saying, okay, wherever there's a paragraph that also has the class of Greg, go ahead and make this change. And so now we'll say blue, and it does that, right? Because there's a paragraph tag there. So really all you're seeing is, you're basically seeing two styles run together, the paragraph and then the dot Greg.
Okay. I see now.
All right. Okay, so let's go on to the next page. Okay, so border width is a property that you can use. You can set the width to be a certain amount of pixels or even a certain amount of Ms. You can see there's the pixel width there. You can make it thin or thick, and that's just entirely dependent on the number you put in. You can also make widths that are specific to just specific sides. Like, remember that when we talked about margin and padding, that not only could you set the margin and padding globally for the entire object, you could also set just the top margin or just the right side or just the bottom or just the left. Well, you can do that with borders too. In this case, you might say, hey, I want the top and the bottom to be a certain thickness, but the right and the left to be a different thickness. And so if we try this out, yeah, it's exactly what I said right here. This one right here in the middle is called class 2. So we have P.2, and that's this. And you can see that what they did was they said, hey, we want the top and the bottom, which is represented by the first number, to be 20 pixels, and then the right and the left to be represented by 5 pixels, which is really small, right? So, you know, and you can see here, they're giving you exactly that example. They say you can set the border thickness for all 4 sides, top, right, bottom, and left. Remember, trouble, TRBL is the acronym, starts at the top and then goes clockwise around. Or if you use 2 numbers, the machine will understand it as the first number being the top and the bottom, the second number being the right and the left, right? And so you can see how that works, right? And you know, there might be times when you want to do something like this. Okay, let's see what's next. So of course you can color the borders. These gives you different examples of the coloration, right? Once again, you could put in, because you can control all 4 sides differently. This looks like a Google box, right? Because it's got all those different colors in it. Did you guys hear that Google got sued by the federal government? The federal government brought charges against them today that they're a monopoly for search engines and for search advertising. So Google's got a long, probably multi-year battle ahead of them. Were any of you guys aware of back? You may not have even been alive during this time, but do you guys were you around when Microsoft got sued by the government?
Nuh-uh. Or I don't remember that happening.
Okay, so what happens is every couple of decades, a company rises to the top of the world. You know, maybe 40, 50 years ago, there was a company called IBM, which was on top of the world. They made computer hardware, and you know, they were the biggest company in the world, one of the most powerful. And this little upstart company started in Silicon Valley called Microsoft. And you know, Bill Gates and his partner started this company and started, you know, aggressively, you know, building software and applications, making deals with computer manufacturers to pre-install their software and their bundles of Windows, their Windows operating system on that software. And basically that software took over the world. And Microsoft displaced IBM as the world's biggest company. Now, Apple also came along, but Apple had a much smaller share of the world then. But anyway, Microsoft went on to become the dominant company in the world, eclipsing IBM and, you know, just crushing the competition, forming basically a monopoly in many different areas. Like, for example, they had a near monopoly on operating systems. You know, if it weren't for Apple, they would have had a complete monopoly. Well, so the federal government, which is supposed to stop monopolies from happening to protect the consumer, sued Microsoft. And in a multi-year battle, basically won the lawsuit and proved that Microsoft was a monopoly and broke the company up, broke it into several pieces where there was a separate software division, and there was a separate division for the operating system, separate division for any hardware they did. They basically broke them into little pieces, which was, you know, a tragedy for Microsoft, but basically a net win for the rest of the world. And you can read articles about it. It's really interesting. Bill Gates, who is one of the smartest guys in the world, who started Microsoft with a partner, he made a huge an error that when you look back at it is unbelievable. He was so arrogant. He was so intelligent and so arrogant for having built the most powerful company in the world that when they took him into court, he sat there in court and he was very flip with his answers, and he didn't know all the information that he should have known. He basically got up there and acted like kind of a spoiled kid who doesn't have to answer questions because he's on top of the world, right? And as a result, his testimony is what buried the company, you know, the CEO who basically was like, well, I don't have to answer your questions, or, well, you should know the answer to that, right? You know, like very flippant kind of remarks. And you can look it up online and find video of him, you know, responding to the questions by the Justice Department in this way that you would just be horrified by, and you would be like, oh my God, of course they broke them up. Well, nowadays, Google, the dominant companies are Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple, to name a few. And the government is going after basically all of them in their own way. Facebook for dominating social media, Apple for dominating the App Store, Amazon for their domination of sales, online sales, and Google for their domination of search and search advertising. And they've got a point. All of these companies built great products, but then they crushed their competition and became sort of the monopoly. So that's where we are today. Today, exactly when the government filed the lawsuit against Google. And so it'd be interesting to watch this because, of course, as I said, there's lawsuits pending against Apple and Facebook and Amazon too. So just watch the news and see how this washes out, because it will change the way these companies operate and the way that you use their products and services. Okay, let's finish up this little thing here. So, okay, so, you know, these are just different ways that you can color. HSL is hue, saturation, and lightness. And of course you have RGB and things like that. And then they go into the CSS colors that you can use. So here we talk about, you know, coloring individual sides or making individual sides different styles. So basically all of these pages are saying, look, borders are like, you know, padding and margin. You can affect them all at the same time. You can affect them all individually. So here we have, you know, examples of all the crazy styles, right? Not that you would ever necessarily use this, but it's just kind of nice to know that you can. Okay, and then here's, once again, the shorthand properties. Just like with margins and stuff, you can put it all into one line of code. So for a border, they need to know, you know, how thick is it? What's the width? What style is it? And what color is it? And you can just put all three of those into one line. So if you say border and you say 5 pixels, it knows that's the width. If you put the word solid or dashed or dotted, it knows that's the style. And if you put a color name, it knows that's the color. So very simple, and once again, very similar to padding and margin. And then I think this is one of the last pages, the rounded borders. This is just CSS code that will fancy up your borders for you. And then what it is, it's called border radius. And you put in a number there, and I think the higher the number, the more rounded it will get, right? So here we go, border radius. The first one has no border radius. The second, a border radius of 5, and then 8, and then 12. And you can see that it's becoming more like a capsule every time you see it. In fact, I can show you one place for sure that they use border radius. Let me go to here and After Effects. And let me see, that's not what I want. Okay, see this little pill-shaped item right here? That is all done with CSS code. So what they have is they have a border around it, and they've given it a border radius. They have a background color, which is white, but then they have a hover property. We haven't really talked much about hover properties for buttons, but the hover property means when you roll over it, the background turns black and the text turns white, just to show you that it's an active button. That's why it exists, right? But that's a good example of the CSS border. And then, so here's some exercises. Okay, let's do our exercises and see how we do. Okay, edit this code. Let's see. What do they want us to do? All right, set a 4-pixel dotted border for paragraph. All right, help me out, guys. What code am I going to type in here? Bernadette, what was your question earlier? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was like P dot.
Right. So P dot. So now we have to put a class name. Now, just come up with a name for me.
Dotted.
Okay, great. P dot dotted, right?
Or you put daughter.
Dottering, right? Now, that's a class, but we also have to put the class down here around the content. So where would we put it?
The P, the one with the little brackets around it.
Right. So what will we write?
Class? No.
Right. Then what?
I'm thinking equal sign.
Perfect. Right. Then what?
Then quotes.
Right. And then
Dot,
what?
or in between dotted.
Right. So that's perfect. So what that's doing is it's saying that if you have a paragraph tag and then you have the class which is called dotted, which is written exactly like that, then you want to do the style which is inside of these angle brackets. Now, this is what they want us to do. Alex, how do we write that?
For the dotted, you would do border style.
Okay, we could probably just say border. And then what do we want to put in here?
Dotted.
This is the information they want. So what will
Oh, okay. Dotted space 4 pixel semicolon.
Okay, right. So 4 pixel dotted, and then we can just give it a color if we want. And say red, and then like that. Now it doesn't like my word border here. Maybe it was border style. Let's see. No, it's just highlighting it maybe. Let's see if it works. All right, good job, you guys. Okay, cool. So now let's go do the next exercise. Okay, set the border color for P to red. Okay, how would we do that?
You could add the red before dotted on border style.
Okay, that didn't work. And that's because border style just refers to the style, not the color.
Hmm.
So we probably have to add a new thing in here. What do you think it would be? What does logic tell you it would be?
Border color.
Correct. So this is the non-shorthand way to do it. Right? The shorthand way is to just write the word border and include all 3 pieces, and then the non-shorthand way is to put all 3 descriptors of the styles, right? Okay, and then let's see, exercise 3. Okay, now change the 3 border properties so they only show the border on the top and the side. Ooh, this is hard.
So just put in like side and top, or right and top.
Yeah, so I think
Would it be a mixed border?
well, let's see. Let's try something here. So let's try something like border top, right? And then what if we put all 3 of these elements in here? And then got rid of these guys. Do you think that's going to work?
Mm, for the top, and not the sides.
Oh, it says, so they only show the border on the top side. Okay, I did get that right. Okay. Yeah, so in other words, let's see. Yeah, see, it only shows the border on the top side. So what do you think? Tell me, is this going to work?
50%.
What's your percentage, Bernadette?
It sounds, I think it could work. So 75, 80%.
All right, 80%.
No, it's 100.
Okay. 100%, right? Even better. Okay. Some of this, sometimes you have to guess, and of course you can always look it up. Okay, with the border property, set the border for P to 10 pixels solid and green. Okay, so that means we got to put a style up here. What are we going to put?
Well, since it's just saying for P, can't we just do P and then the open brackets?
Yes, you can. That's exactly correct because they're saying just for P. So anywhere there's a paragraph, they want you to put this style in. So what's it going to be? What code are we going to put in to set the border to 10 pixels solid and green?
Border style solid.
Okay, let's just put the word border.
True.
Okay, solid. What else?
10 picks.
And
Green.
there you go.
So for like the styles of the border, can you, oh wait a minute, never mind. I was gonna ask if you can put border size, but then it would affect the solid and the green, so scratch that.
Yeah. So, just like, so the way to think about it is if you want to target just one side of a border, margin, or padding, you can just write that out. Border top, margin left, padding bottom, right? But if you want to affect everything equally, you can put it all in one line of code.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay, well, I think, do you guys have any other questions about either the code or the websites that you're working on?
I have a question actually.
Yeah.
For like WordPress sites, I noticed that some of the plugins require like users, and I was wondering what kind of like is the database like user database like built into WordPress or how does that work?
Yeah, so the database for users is built into WordPress, and this is how it works. If you go into your WordPress site and you go down here to settings, you can set it so that anybody can register for your site, which means anybody can go to the login screen and say, yeah, I want to sign up for Alex's site. And then you can say what they're going to become when they sign up. What we have are these things called roles in WordPress. And the roles are different jobs that you can do in relation to the website. So the administrator is the one who has the ability to do everything and go everywhere. And of course, you can have multiple administrators. You could have somebody here and somebody in Washington who are both administrators. The editor gets to edit pages that were only allowed by the administrator. So an example might be if you had the Apple website and it was on WordPress, and the guys who make the iPad could only edit the iPad pages, right? An author gets to write content on certain pages. Once again, the people above them get to lock down what they do. So the administrator gets to tell the editor what he can do. Both the administrator and the editor have the power to lock down the author. All three of these guys can lock down the contributor. It's also authors and contributors are people who contribute to the website on specific pages. A subscriber just gets content from the website, right? The customer is just somebody who buys things, and then the shop manager, somebody who like literally manages a retail store, right? But anyway, once you set your membership level here, then what happens is when new people sign up for the site, they end up here in the user area. And the user area keeps track of everybody. It keeps their email address. It keeps their role on the site if they're a customer, subscriber, or whatever. So if you use like a membership plugin, all of those people will appear here. And then you can do things like send mass emails out to them, change their permissions, stop somebody from coming into the site if they're abusing their role on the site, and so on and so forth. So yes, there is a user database built into WordPress already, and you can fill it up using subscriber and membership plugins.
That's pretty convenient.
Yeah, it's super cool. And you can also import data into this. You could import a list of usernames in from like a comma separated value or a CSV file, which can be generated from like Microsoft, what's that called? A spreadsheet, Microsoft Sheets. What's it called? Google spreadsheet is called Google Sheets, but the Microsoft spreadsheet, it starts with a P, doesn't it?
I don't know, but no, that's something else.
No, it's not PowerPoint. It's I can't remember what it is, but Microsoft has let me see. Microsoft spreadsheet program. Excel. Of course, it starts with a P, Excel. Yeah. So anyway, you could take a list of users that you have in Excel. You can save it in what's called a comma separated value format, and then import that into WordPress to populate your database. So really cool stuff that you can do with that. All right. Any other questions from you guys? Okay, so let me go back to the class website. So I put some new reading on here for you guys to do. So this week you can learn about, let's see. I have CSS margins in here, but we already did margins. Let me see. Let me go past this. I thought we were learning about something else. Padding, we learned about that too. The box model. Let me see. I'm gonna change my assignment for you guys. Let's start here. So I'm gonna, excuse me a second, I'm just gonna update the website reading. Okay, so we'll go all posts and we'll say web design beginning. So let's see, we want to read from this page. Let's see. And then we want to go ahead. The box model is well worth learning about. There's an outline. Let's see. Outline width. Come on, give me something interesting. Outline, offset, text formatting. Okay, this is worth looking at. So okay, let's just do those two sections. So changing the reading here, like I said, we're gonna kill this and put in a new page. Okay, so when you do this reading, some of it is going to be very similar. They're talking about outlines. It's going to be very similar to borders. So you can just read that and just sort of process that information, but definitely look at the CSS box model, which is the first page that you go to, and then definitely pay attention to that text information at the end of the reading section. And we'll talk about those next week in addition to talking about your websites, because that's important information. Okay, now I think I'm gonna let you guys go a little early because I have some paperwork that I have to do for the school. So any other questions or anything from you guys?
I'm good.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right, well, you guys are doing good work. I like the way your sites are looking. Bernadette, congrats on solving that problem. That's exactly the kind of thing you need to learn how to do when working on WordPress.
Yeah.
And your site's looking really good, Alex. So thanks for cleaning that up and making it look good. Okay, so have a good week, guys, and I will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you too.